It's the Kink Consultant Podcast, where we're turning up the heat on all things kink and dating, relationships, and pop culture. So close the door, plug in your headphones, and let's get down to it. Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Kink Consultant. Delighted to have Ben and Jazz here. I am a follower of theirs on Instagram, and I am obsessed with a couple of the series they have going. So welcome, Ben and Jazz. Excited to get into this with you all today.
Thank you so much for having us. We're so excited.
No way you're as excited as I am. I feel like you're celebrities, and I watch your lives, and I'm obsessed with both of you. So it's really a pleasure and super exciting to be here today. So I originally found you both. My sister actually sent your account to me and she said, I think you will like them. I was like, yes, of course. A couple talking so openly about their sex life? Duh. I want to know how you got started. Like, it's a big jump for a couple to go online and talk about their lives so openly.
Honestly, we kind of fell into it in a weird little way. Originally, I had an OnlyFans a very long time ago. I had it for like a while, was kind of on and off using it. And then when we got together, I was like, would you do porn with me? And you were like, yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. And then we like sort of talked about it back and forth, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll make us like a little Instagram. The first video we ever did that went viral was actually a video about me asking Ben, what's the thing that you hate most about me?
Or what's the thing that I dislike most about you?
And it has like 7.7 million views or something. And it was basically Ben saying that I can be quite selfish sometimes. And I remember being like, ugh, like, fair, like, oh my God. And that just kind of took off. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like, maybe people aren't used to listening to conversations that you would never normally hear about.
I think a big frustration for us is seeing couples online and only posting the good stuff. Yeah. Because like everyone always compares their life to what they see online. And that's super, super dangerous. Yeah, as Jazz was saying, like after that video popped off, we started having these discussions around what if we put everything online in terms of the good, the bad, the ugly, and try and show people that it's okay to have disagreements, that it's okay to have different views, but it's all about how you communicate that.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like how it sort of kicked off.
It went from that, so having these conversations that people normally wouldn't have, to then going, okay, what's the next conversation we can have that people wouldn't have? And it was, he didn't like that I did in the bedroom, and what I didn't like about what he did in the bedroom. And that video did really, really well. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. People don't really talk about sex with their partners that often. Like, it's a very taboo subject, even within a relationship. For me, like as a woman, you barely talk about that with partners, especially if they're not comfortable to talk about it. And then we started talking about that, and then we kind of were like, all right, let's do some more like different ideas videos around sex. It just kept growing from there, and the more it got bigger, the more we were like, okay, it'll start to like taper down now. And then we went from like 50,000 to like 70,000. We're like, all right, let's start to taper down now. And then it went to 100,000, and we're like, oh my God, bigger and bigger, the quicker. And we're like, it's so funny because we're both very like awkward people. I feel we're like, wow, this is really interesting, and people will meet you in person, you're like, I really hope I wasn't super awkward.
So did you do porn together first and then started making content on Instagram?
Yeah, actually.
I think so, yeah. Because you had the OnlyFans beforehand, so you already had like a big following online prior to us getting together.
Yeah.
So we just started doing that for fun because we're both very sexually open and confident people. So we started targeting just the existing platform that Jazz had on OF and
my Instagram, yeah.
And then we realized, we can really kind of like do more. And then I think it was more like we were very passionate about being able to help couples and just people in general communicate better in the bedroom, because obviously you've had some pretty poor experiences. You know, had poor experiences myself, and hear stories from my mates and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, the thing that always comes back is communication, right? Like, women want to feel safe in the bedroom. Once they feel safe, they're willing to do more, and then the man gets more of what his desires are. So instead of trying to force that, talk about it. Yeah, that's kind of the basis of everything that we kind of started off of that too, is like, communication.
I love the long answer version, because the idea that women feeling safe is what is going to open them up in the bedroom, or at least it brings out the exploration that I think men are taught, this is what you should be doing, or something like that. There's a pressure put on people to like explore in the bedroom and be adventurous, but in order to do that, people are always skipping over the safety talk, or just feeling safe and and trust. Trust is the big one for me. I'm like, you need to be able to trust each other.
There can be a lot of guys that feel super like not fulfilled in the bedroom, and we get messages all the time of guys being like, how do I get my girlfriend to give me a blowjob? And I'm like, have you spoken to her? You can kind of tell this disconnect between like, I want this, but how do I get it? And it's like, well, how do you approach that with your partner to make them feel safe about it? Like, why don't they want to give you a blowjob? Like, is there a reason why they're not feeling like they want to? Do they not feel like they're getting enough from like you in the relationship and from what you're giving them sexually? Like, there's so many different factors that go in it, rather than just, oh, my partner doesn't want to give me a blowjob. It's like, well, there's probably a reason behind it, and like, you've got to sit down and figure that out.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You exemplify this by having these conversations, as you referenced. Before you started recording them, were you both curious about each other in this way? Like, were you constantly asking questions?
Yeah, when we first started dating, we would talk about pretty much anything and everything.
Yeah.
In terms of like what we wanted for our relationship. There was a point where we were talking about being in an open relationship. Did not go down that path. Turns out I'm way too jealous. Like, we spoke about all these things that we were like, you know, is even monogamy right for us? Like, is it not right for us? Like, we had conversations around porn. We had conversations around what we both liked in the bedroom. Like, you would always be like, okay, cool, did you like that? Was that okay? Like, are you comfortable trying this? Like, it was very much conversations around what we wanted to try and what we liked. And then even after we finished having sex, we'd talk about it and be like, oh, how was that? Like, what did we like about that? Or if we wanted to try...
I love a good debrief.
You do love a good debrief.
You need to relive it again.
You love a good debrief.
In great detail.
It's like having a form at the end to like go through.
Yeah.
How was this?
I mean, like, why wouldn't you want to talk about something fun and exciting? It's like when you go on a roller coaster or something new and fresh and exciting, you're like, oh, I want to talk about it again and relive it. Why not do the same with great sex?
Yeah.
Like, you get to relive it and then you learn more about the other person and then you get to take that into the next time. It's even better.
Yeah, so you just keep upping the ante on each other with this feedback loop. But similar to the selfish conversation, or what do you not love about me? How do you feel when you get negative feedback? Constructive criticism. We'll call it constructive criticism.
I think it really depends. Like, sometimes we are really good at communicating with each other. Sometimes we're really bad at communicating with each other, and like, it can go up and down in that way. I guess it really depends. Like, there was a time where like, I think you were going down on me and I was like, kind of felt like you didn't want to. And you were like, what? No, like, not at all. And I remember you being a little bit like, oh, I was a bit taken back by that. Because like, I didn't think that. But like, you weren't angry or mad that I was like, oh, it felt like you weren't wanting to. You were just like, oh, I was a little taken back and like a little bit like, oh, damn, because I really wanted that to make you feel good, but you weren't angry.
Well, yeah, there's no reason for me to be angry at that.
But I think anytime like we have negative feedback, like you've told me when like you're like, okay, blowjobs, like I like it this way, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. But like, we never get angry about that. Like, it's just kind of like it might be disappointing because you're like, I was trying really hard, or like I really had this intention, and that might make you feel sad, but then it's not like an anger after, because then that person feels like they can't say it again, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I want to commend you, Jazz, for even saying in the first place, like, oh, it felt like you didn't want to do that. Like, a lot of people, I think, would bury that.
I think I used to, but like, you're very good with talking to me about that stuff that you would rather know than not know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, anyone who goes in thinking they know everything and that they're the greatest at it, red flag. And the only way you're going to get better at it is through communication. Like, why would you want to continue to do the same thing if it's not great? Tell me what you like. Tell me what works. Like, yes, it can sting at times because you're like, oh, I thought I really nailed that. But just like anything, sometimes it's going to be phenomenal. Other times it's not. So talk about the time, like talk about both, but especially when it's not great, so you can learn, because then it just gets better and better.
I think with other partners as well, I used to not be like that. Like, I would absolutely bury it and be like, okay, that's fine. Like, I was so uncomfortable with telling them either if I didn't like something, or like everyone's like different, or like I was even sometimes like really uncomfortable to come. Like, it was just like a really weird trust thing. But yeah, I've never had that since being with you, because I think you're very like open in terms of talking about what we liked and didn't like. And even if you think a session's bad, you're like, oh, sorry, that wasn't the best. And I'm like, no, it was really good. Like, what do you mean? But you're very open to be like, okay, that probably wasn't like our best session, but they're not always going to be like that. Sometimes they're going to be the most amazing thing we've ever had in our entire lives. And sometimes it might not be the best session ever, which is so fun.
Yeah. There's no right or wrong.
I agree completely that there is no right or wrong, and the open communication without bringing your ego into it is really helpful. When you're not getting angry, it's really just not letting your ego affect hearing the feedback.
True, that's a very good point, actually.
Your work sort of overlaps with your sex life, right? Your organic sex life. I'm so curious about how you balance that. I have 2 questions. Number 1, how many times a week are you having sex? Number 2, how many times a week is it that it is just for fun and there's no agenda of we need to get through this for whatever series we're running?
It really changes because I find that like my libido really flows with like my cycle. I end a cycle, don't really want to be touched. I'm like, no, I'm not really feeling it. Start of, or like pretty much halfway through my period, start of like the new cycle, I'm like every day, jump you, and then like attacking bed every second, and bed's like, oh my God. So it really changes. Like it can be like literally 5 times a week, 6 times a week. It could be multiple times a day, and then it could be like once a week. And it will really depend on like the cycle and how we're feeling.
I completely agree. Like obviously, like there's a lot of external factors as well with like things that are going on that determine our libido or drives. But yeah, it's very organic and it flows. It could be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times.
But I think like the thing we've really learnt like on like sex in terms of like we've done that challenge, we had sex for 30 days straight, is for us it's never about the quantity, it's about the quality. So like if we're not feeling it because of whatever reason, if like we're both working and super stressed, we're never going to pressure each other to have sex because it's like, okay, well that session's probably not going to be great. But really changes depending on my cycle, and definitely with you as well. I don't know if you react to my cycle or you're just kind of like respecting what.
Bit of both.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, like, I can't even imagine what it would be like having a period. So the last thing I want to do is like before or after it's coming.
My boobs are like, no.
That's a lot of empathy. Like, oh, I don't know what it's like to have a period, so like, let me not pressure that person.
Yeah, because sometimes I'm just like, please don't touch my boobies. Like, they're so sore. Like, or something's happening. I'm like, no. But in terms of how we balance our sex life and then OnlyFans life, it took a long time, I feel. Because there was a period there where we were like, we have to film everything. We've got to make sure we have every like bit of video up, and like we would have sex to film. Obviously we'd have sex other times, but like we would be like, cool, we're prepping to like film. And we're sort of really learnt with us, we take way longer to do customs than anybody else because we wait until we're feeling like doing that custom. So we're like, okay, cool, this is a custom we have to do. And it could be anal, it could be role play, it could be anything. And we're like, cool, we're gonna wait until we are feeling like we want to film that type of video. And then 1, the video is more authentic, but 2, we actually then enjoy it. And it's like fun for us.
I think that then also like has an on-flow effect to the relationship too. So yeah, we're very patient with that sort of stuff. Yes, it does piss off some people at times, but at the end of the day, like our relationship will always come first. We probably have sex for ourselves more than we do for OnlyFans. Maybe a quarter of the time is when we film for OnlyFans. Like when we're like, oh, you know, we're feeling like we want to film this. Or if there's times where we feel like we've been filming too much, we'll be like, oh, we're not filming this session.
Yeah.
Like, this is purely for us to reconnect. So I would say, yeah, probably like a 70-30 or at best in terms of like filming ratio to not filming.
Because then as well, like if I'm like, oh cool, like we should film this, and you're like, no, let's just do this for ourselves. I'm like, yeah, cool, that's fine. Like you would normally say that, or I would be like, yeah, no, like I'm not feeling like filming it, let's just do it for ourselves. I've kind of learned that we don't have to film all of the time. Like it's fine to kind of take steps for ourselves. And also like our job is very based on like whether we are connecting. So like if we're not able to connect because we're constantly filming these videos or like putting pressure on ourselves, then we're not able to like do our jobs. We've really kind of learned that like our relationship is like the most important thing because that relies on us doing our job. So our relationship has to be good, or like not has to be good, but we have to keep working on it because that connection is what drives the rest of our life.
All right, Kinkster, let's talk about pleasure. Not just mine, yours too. If you're enjoying this episode of The Kink Consultant, I need you to do me a little favor, and I promise it'll feel oh so good. Take a second and give this podcast a 5-star rating. Just imagine your finger sliding all over that 5th star, pressing down, giving it exactly the kind of attention it deserves. Yeah, that's it. And you know what happens when you do? I get all hot and bothered knowing you're out there, showing your appreciation. Plus, every time you leave a review, a naughty little brat somewhere gets that spanking they've been begging for. So be a good listener and tap that star, won't you? Thanks, love. Now let's get back to the fun.
So it's interesting because It's not just that you each have to give feedback on whether or not you're in the mood to have sex. Then you need to qualify whether or not this is for OnlyFans or for personal life. The way you describe it, it almost sounds more helpful. Like you're really taking the personal aspect out of it. I know for some people, including myself, if I'm rejected from sex, I have to remind myself it's not personal, it's how the other person is feeling.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it is so much a natural part of how you both operate and communicate. I don't know, sounds idyllic, really. Maybe like it's not as hard than to have to like get over the rejection.
Oh, we definitely don't get it right every single time.
No.
And there is times that we definitely feel rejected. Like, you've come to me a few times where I'm like, look, I'm just not in the mood because of whatever reason. And I'm like, oh, nah. And then you've come back, you're like, oh, really? You know, that kind of got me. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, it had nothing to do with you. It was just because, like, of X, Y, and Z, I'm stressed or tired or I didn't sleep well or I've got this on my mind, that sort of stuff.
Most of the time I do
But
try
9 times
to,
out of 10, you're good. It definitely does sting at times. Like, you can't get it right every single time. But
You're a person.
yeah.
Feelings.
For the most part, we always do remember that these conversations, no matter how uncomfortable or painful they can be, it always leads to us getting closer or getting us what we want, ultimately.
I always feel as well when you're like, okay, like we're kind of not in the mood, I just want to like cuddle or whatever it is. If we just like sit down and we cuddle for ages and you get horny anyway.
Yeah.
So it's pretty like we just kind of cuddle.
I want to dig into the 30 Days of Sex series.
Yeah.
Were you allowed to say no?
We sat down and we really talked about it at the start and mapped out how this would work despite someone might not feeling it right.
Yeah.
So we kind of came up with the idea that over the next 30 days, at minimum, one of us have to be able to get off.
Yeah.
So that way, if one of us wasn't really feeling it, we could still complete the challenge.
With the 30 days of fucking, it wasn't like sex is just intercourse. It's like sex is foreplay. Sex is like you going down on me or me going down on you or like hand jobs or whatever it is. Like sex isn't just penis
No,
and
it's
like some people think. It's everything else that is involved around sex. It is very much like a connection thing. So we're like, okay, cool. When we do this challenge, it isn't just going to be about intercourse or like a penis and a vagina. It's about trying to find other avenues as well to get each other off and to have that connection. There were definitely times where we were like, it's been like 15 days in a row and like I'm tired, or you would be like, okay, cool, like I'm just going down on you tonight. I'd be like, cool, and then the next night I'd be like, okay, then I'm just gonna go down on you or whatever, and then we'd be able to have somewhat of a break.
Yeah, the first one was really fun and somewhat challenging, but the second one was torture.
It was so hard.
And
yeah.
I don't think you and I were really on the same page with a lot of stuff at that time as well. So it really challenged us to find the ways to connect to. So it's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure.
So the first time you did 31 days of sex, we'll say 31 days of intimacy is
Yeah.
what it actually was. And then the second time, my impression would be like, oh, you've done it once, you know what to expect. Why was the second time torture?
I think because the first time we did it, we both worked full time, so we didn't have like the worry, which sounds like it shouldn't be this way, but like I think because we both worked full time and like this wasn't our job, like it was a kind of just like a hobby, and we made some money off OnlyFans, but not like enough for both of us to live off. And then the second time round, we had just moved house. We were living in this house that we hated, like it was so bad. Literally, like it was 50 square foot, like with 2 cats. Everything in that 30 days, we're like, oh my, we can't deal with this. And then we also started working full time on our businesses. So the stress of them working on businesses was there, and like then having to worry about like all that other kind of stuff, that it just felt really hard to.
There's many layers to it.
Yeah, getting like connected, to be like, okay, we are just here to like connect, and that's all we have to focus on.
The last thing I wanted to do was have sex or orgasm at all,
Yeah.
because I was like, I've got so many other things on my mind right
Yeah.
now.
I'd
So-
be curious to do it again. It is a really fun challenge because you are kind of like learning each other and like understanding what each other likes and what each other don't like, and understanding each other's libido. But it is very challenging because you would think like, oh, sex, like that just brings you close together. It's not a challenging thing. But when you add it in like you have to do it, it is actually quite challenging. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. But also, like, I understand when you're working full time, this becomes the escape, the fun side hustle thing. It's the business. It's like, it takes up a different space in your mind.
100%. And I think
Yeah.
we've really had to like take a step back to be like, you know what, whatever happens, happens. Like, it's fine. We'll be fine. Like, and kind of take a step back from that and not really think of it as a business, because again, to us, like when we're doing this isn't a business. For us, it's always been about like connecting in our relationship and then showing that to other people and kind of having these discussions with other people and then having other people talk about it in their relationships and like feeling safe to talk about that with their partners and having more women understand that you can have good sex and like, you know, it isn't normal for your partner to just not want to make you come or not make you feel safe in a relationship. And I think that is the main reason that we've done this. Obviously, like the OnlyFans is a bonus, but even on there it's really nice because like people will message us and just literally subscribe because they're like, we just love you and want to support you, and that's it. Like we're not even here to watch videos. And we'll get really nice messages and I'm like, oh, this is so sweet.
Yeah, it's cool to see the effect that it can have.
You're both so lovable that I have no doubt that you get a ton of messages like that. So you've done, okay, the 30 days of sex. Have you ever considered 2 weeks of no sex? The antithesis of what your entire OnlyFans is probably about.
We actually have.
Yeah, a lot of people want to see that.
Yeah, I'm very open to it. What is it? Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah.
Isn't it like absence makes the pussy hornier, maybe?
Well, that's what you need to test, Jazz. Does absence make the pussy hornier?
Exactly. I think it'd be really good. Because we can like pre-film OnlyFans videos, that's fine. I think that's the issue. But like it'd be really interesting to see how we went for 2 weeks without anything. After the kink challenge, we're doing a challenge where we're going to test 30 different toys. So we're gonna like go find the craziest toys that we can find and just test all of them and like see what they're like. So then maybe after that we'll do the...
Yeah, actually, yeah, it could be quite good.
We could do a month, but we always do a month.
No, don't do a month.
I would have to do it at the start of my cycle because that's when I'm the horniest. It'd be the hardest. Yeah.
Coming out the other end, you're just like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, this is a nice little break, it's fine. But if we do it at the start of my cycle, that would be so funny. Yeah, I might do that.
Would either of you describe yourselves as kinky?
Yes, but I wouldn't say I'm cool kinky. Like, I don't think I have like cool kinks.
I think there's like levels of kinks, right?
Yeah.
You like to explore, but you like your safe zones as well.
Yeah.
I'm probably a little bit more what?
Yeah, you're definitely more
level.
kinkier than me. I feel like you're definitely more kinky than I am, but like I'm open to trying all of the kinks. But there's definitely kinks that I'm like, no, these are like my favorites.
What are your favorites?
Definitely like sub, praise king, mirror king. I loved the mirror king.
Yeah, what's it called?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you watch yourself in the mirror while you have sex. That was a really hot one. I actually liked that a lot more than I thought I would.
And then there's the one that's like, not for like CNC, kind of CNC, but not the way that you did it.
You did like a little bit of CNC, and I was like, not for me.
Yeah, you did like CNC. And then...
Why? I want to understand. Why did you like it, Jazz? And then we'll talk to Ben about why he didn't like it.
It's very interesting because we've done 2 types of CNC. We actually did film it, but we ended up not posting it because you were so uncomfortable. And it was very much like a fight back type CNC, like try to fight as much as you can.
So can I ask, was it more primal or like a rape scene?
50-50.
Yeah, I think you felt
okay.
Because you were like, I remember after we did it, you were like, how could somebody do this to somebody else?
I needed like a good hour to myself afterwards because I felt so gross.
Yeah, so we were like, okay, we're never doing that again. I think for me, it was like, I really like the idea of not being in control, and I really love the idea of not having the power when it comes to that. And I think because I know for a fact in any moment if I say like, no, stop, you would stop. Like there's not going to be a question about it. So there's pretty much anything you could do to me and I'd be like, cool, go for it. Because I know if I'm like, stop, then you will. But I think, yeah, you really struggled with like how icky it made you feel.
Yeah, I think it's like, as a guy, you hear about these stuff
that happens,
and you're like, oh, that's terrible. How could anyone do that? But then when you have to reenact that for somebody who has that sort of fetish, you kind of, the whole thing is like, how does one do this? This is gross. I can't even find the words. It just makes me feel so disgusting. I'm just like, nah. It's like a mixture of emotions. Rage is the big one because I'm just like, how could anyone hurt somebody else to this degree and be that selfish? And it just makes me so fucking angry. And then it makes me so sad as well because I'm just like, there is no level of words that you could describe the level of traumaticness that would be for the other. Like, just the emotions are so extreme that even now I feel sick thinking about it.
Of just the non-consensual element that actually happens in real life.
Yeah. I understand from like a consensual, non-consensual standpoint, the power dynamic and stuff, and I respect that works for some in the bedroom when there is a safe space created, and I'm not judging that, but it's just a little bit too real. This happens and it doesn't happen like this.
I did not feel kink shamed when you were explaining where you were coming from. My only question is, did you have an inkling going in that you might feel this way about CNC?
Yeah.
I thought I would struggle to start off with, and then I was like, wait, no, this is actually fine. But I think what I struggled with, because we did 2 types, so we did that one, which was very fight back, and then we did another one that was more words, and that one I really struggled with. That one I was like, I don't like this, but the other one I didn't struggle with, which is really interesting.
Because I think like the other one, you like to be a little bit bratty in the bedroom sometimes, and that first one's more like you just kind of like playfully playing back, and there's like, no, but dominate me. Yeah. Whereas this other one was very like, as if you don't want it.
You said you were okay with the physical one, but it was sort of like the wordy one of saying, no, I don't want this was harder for you?
Yeah, and that one really sucked because it was like doing it and then I had to like walk away and be like, no, stop, like I don't want it. That one I was like, oh, this is so uncomfortable. I think it is because like in our normal life, like I'm very bratty, like I love to like piss off Ben. So for me, I was like, oh, this is just like us playing around and like having fun. And I think to probably a more of an extent, that has never happened to me. So I don't have that in my body where I feel probably the other kink more I can feel
it's
because
a bit too close to home.
Yeah, like I feel like that one I was like, oh, this feels too real and like I can't deal with it because it's something I've experienced. So I'm like, I don't like it, like, but the other one, yeah, was way easier. Yeah.
Because you were able to separate from it completely. Yeah. Oh, that makes total sense.
Yeah, right? I think it's that like separation of it where I think somebody else that has had like an experience like that in that way probably would not be able to do it because it would feel too real because it's like in your body. Where for me, the other one was what it was more like. So I was like, okay, this I feel in my body and this I don't like. And then after we finished doing that video, I was like, we're never doing that again. Like I just am never doing that again.
I think it's fascinating that the closer to home it hit for you, Jazz, the less enjoyable it was. What are you both looking forward to the most that hasn't come up yet?
I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to it at all.
Oh, pegging. I'm so excited for pegging.
I love pegging. I don't enjoy the mirror kink except when I'm pegging someone. I've had some bad experiences, like I get too in my head and I don't enjoy it. But you put a strap on me, bend someone over in front of me and let me watch myself in the mirror.
Fair, that makes sense actually.
So Jazz, I don't know if you really like the mirror kink, it might be like this might be an add-on for you. Then you can be blindfolded if that's
it. No, that's gonna help.
So excited.
That's gonna help.
I'm so excited for it. I like cannot wait. I don't actually think going into it I'm gonna enjoy it a lot because I'm like a very submissive person, so I think I'm probably not gonna enjoy it.
For me, I'm probably excited about experiencing a prostate orgasm because like guys can orgasm 4 different ways and that's probably the only one that I haven't experienced. So I'm excited to see what that is like, but I'm not excited for the actual act of it for it to happen.
Okay. Oh, but there's a lot to unpack here. I was just so excited, Jazz, for your experience that I got a little overzealous because I'm like, oh, it's going to be great. Starting with you, Jazz, you said you're more submissive. Is this going to be the first time you play a dominant role in the kink challenge?
No, we did chastity, so that was a very dominant role.
No, but you still took over that.
You caved.
Yeah, that's true.
I was going to say, I'm like, this is one where you're not going to be able to like quote unquote cave. You're going to
be like very, maybe there is one. We've done like so many so far. It's really not the first time I've been dominant in our sexual life, but I definitely maybe feeling it's the first.
I think real dominant role that you've played. Like there's dominant aspects that you have where you're like, oh, I really want to go down and you so like sit the fuck down. But like this dominant role where you're completely in power, I think would be the first time.
Yeah, probably would be, to be honest.
There's flexibility in it. You could also just play it as a top who wants to give him pleasure through it, if that felt more comfortable.
We're filming that as well, and you were like, there's so many people that have offered us, it's gonna sound really bad, but so much money to do it.
Yeah.
And we've just not done it, because we're like, we're doing it on the King Challenge. Like, just wait for the King Challenge. And they're like, no, I will give you so much money. And we're like, no.
Yeah, I'm like, why are my bros out to get me?
Yeah, like so many people are trying to get us to do it early. It's so funny.
Why, boys? Why?
Yeah, it's
but then you might enjoy it.
True. I think like there is definitely, from what I'm understanding in the conversations that we're having, it's very much something that guys do a lot more than they want to let on.
And as long as you're willing to take it slow, I think it can be really enjoyable for both people.
And I think it's just like anything when it comes to anal.
Yeah.
Just take it slow. It's not a race.
But I can understand, being penetrated, women are really used to it, right? We sort of take it for granted that that's what happens if you want to engage in intercourse. I can understand how, Ben, that's going to be a totally new experience for you. But did you say you can orgasm in 4 different ways?
Guys can do their own version of Kegels, which separates the pelvic and abdominal muscles. And if you can trigger them at the right moment when you ejaculate, the orgasm is much bigger and it actually ripples onto different muscles in your body. So it's like essentially different types of orgasms that doesn't necessarily have to be ejaculatory. And it's all about timing and being able to separate the muscles at the right time. So you've got like your standard ejaculatory orgasm that every guy experiences, but if you're able to separate the pelvic and abdominal muscle, you're able to get like a buzzing effect through your abs and the abdominal area, and then again through your muscles covering your kidneys, and that's a really good one. It's kind of like, you know, when women explain their orgasm as like a wave where it like very intensifies and slows down and intensifies again. Very similar to that, but in different parts of the body. And it's not something that's very much taught for men in any way, shape or form. And I remember coming across it once on the internet and I'm like, nah, I've got to test this. So I used to just walk around doing Kegels for like days and days and days and days and days and days and days. I managed to make it happen. I was like, oh, this is a game changer.
How were you doing Kegels? Because the way I describe a Kegel is like how you'd stop yourself from peeing as a woman. You squeeze. Same thing. Exact same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but instead you feel it in the gooch. That's the best way to explain it for a guy. Yeah, you do the whole Kegel, like stop yourself from peeing and like clench that muscle. You get I get like a pins and needles, not a pins and needles, like a tingly feeling in my gooch. Okay. So I know that's like when I'm tensing that muscle.
It is the perineum, so that's where you feel it, which I mean honestly is where we feel it too. Okay, so that counts as 3 out of the 4, and then the 4th is the prostate orgasm.
Yeah.
Have you done fingers up there yet?
No. You should do that before you do pegging.
Yeah. I would be open to trying that first before you sticking a
That's
pegging
probably a good
device in
idea.
me.
Probably gonna be a good idea.
I think it's a good idea because at least then you get acquainted with what you're trying to stimulate with a strap on.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a smarter idea.
To be honest, I think before we even get there, we'll probably try something like that first because it just makes sense. Again, it's all like about safety and creating that space and communication. It's probably, you don't want to, I mean, nothing wrong about jumping right in the deep end where you know.
It's gonna hurt. I think prepping you first is gonna be the smartest idea because we prepped me for like months prior to doing anal, so we're probably gonna need to do the same thing.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm also used to like, here, put this butt plug in for 10 minutes.
Put it in for me because I'm like, I can't get it down there. I don't know how to.
Plus, I like doing it. It's like a form of care as well because then like I can like be in control of warming you up and making sure you're all good. I don't know, there's like that care element to it that I enjoy as well.
I love it. It's so romantic. And I think that people forget that all of this is very loving. Like, Kink has a bad rap. BDSM has a bad rap. Awkwardly segueing this into people we love, your families, you're pretty public about what you do. I know that some of your family knows, some don't. I'd love to talk about that. Like, how did you even bring it up?
So I was on The Bachelor in Australia and I had an OnlyFans during that time and I didn't have it active, but I just had one there. My family had no idea, they didn't know anything about it. Like, it was a very secret thing that no one knew about. When I was on the show, there was this girl that me and her just butted heads. Like, she was a very, very awful human being. And I'm also not somebody that like, I'm very nice until I get very mad and then I am just mad. And she was just awful. Like, she was such a bad person. Anyway, she overheard one of the girls talking about OnlyFans and they were like, does anybody have one? And I was like, oh, I've had one before. So she outed it on the TV show. Yeah, so she outed it and I was like, oh, okay, like, surely we're not gonna put it online. Like, this is done before, like, it'll be fine. And then I got a call like maybe 2 weeks before the show aired to be like, tell the people that you want to know before because it's going to be on the promo and like you need to make sure that people know.
I have chills. So I'm glad that they told you to tell people because I'm sure you signed documents that meant they didn't have to tell you to tell people.
No, they didn't have to like let me know at all. So thankfully
Any decent thing they did for you.
Yeah, thankfully.
And no, I'm not saying it's right, Jazz, just that like
No.
I'm surprised that they did tell you.
I'm actually shocked they did too, to be honest, because I remember being like, please let me know prior so I can like talk to my family about it. So I think maybe 2 days before it ends, because I really, really don't want to do it. We weren't even dating at this point, I'm pretty sure. You were just kind of over. And then I told my sister and she was like, okay, that's fine. Like, all right. She's like, well, you have to tell dad. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm like, I really don't want to. She's like, no, like, you have to tell him. She's like, he'll be fine. Like, his main thing is he's just gonna be worried about your safety. And like, obviously he's older, so like this is like not part of their generation and they don't understand it. And the biggest thing in the show is that they really honed in. I think they're trying to get me to cry. They were like, oh, like, your dad's not gonna love you anymore. Hey, like, he's not gonna love you if he finds out. And I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe he won't. Yeah, it was pretty bad. And then I went and told him. It was like really hard to get it out. And I was like, look, at this time I wasn't doing anything crazy on this. I was like, I don't really do anything apart from like nude shoots. Like, that's kind of it. I was like, the reason I do it is because like you've always told us from kids, like, treat everybody the same. Don't treat anybody differently. Like, treat the CEO the same as you treat the janitor. Like, don't be that person. And I was like, and I really found as I got older, like, women are that person that gets treated differently. And, you know, I don't want to be the person that's treating other people differently, so I want to be that person that can do this. And he was kind of understanding of it. He didn't really say much, but I did say, I was like, you know, they told me that you weren't gonna love me if you found out. And his reaction was sort of like, well, that's fucking ridiculous. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't really say anything else, and I was like, I'm gonna leave and leave you this information, and I'm gonna go home and like, give me a call if you want. And then yeah, he called me maybe once I got home and was just like, I'm sorry if it made you feel like you couldn't tell me. I'm just in an older generation. Like, I'll get it. I'll understand it. Like, don't worry about it. He's like, whoever said that, I'm not going to love you anymore. Like, they're fucking idiot. Like, of course I'm going to. Very sweet. Fast forward now. I think he's seen that we do more than I have told him. Yeah, so now it's like a bit more of an awkward conversation where like if we go to family events, they'll bring it up and they'll be like, oh, your Instagram's like disgusting. Like, your TikTok's so gross. Like, why are you guys talking about this? This is like so disgusting. And I'm like,
Who?
My parents, my dad, my mum. My sister, not so much sometimes. Mum and dad will be like, yeah, that's so gross. Like, I can't believe you guys talk about that. And I'm like, okay, that's really mean.
I understand though. Okay, so
Yeah.
you went from the producers of The Bachelor telling you your father's not going to love you anymore because your OnlyFans exists. Despite them having no actual, like, backing for that, they just wanted to make you cry.
Yeah, to get a reaction out of me.
Fast forward, you tell your dad, and he's like, I'm sorry, you felt you couldn't tell me. It's absolutely ridiculous that you would experience that. And now it's just a little so out in the open. Are they following your Instagram?
I think, because I blocked them. Please do not watch this. It's like that thing where you're like, you just don't watch it if you don't want to know. My dad wants to know. He will find our TikTok and watch our videos and then get upset about it. Or I'm pretty sure he's found our Twitter, which is awful.
Okay, but he hasn't watched OnlyFans as far as you know.
I hope not. I think if I found out he had subscribed, I would never talk to my family again. I'd be like, that is such an invasion of privacy.
I'd be like, why are you so weird to do that?
Yeah, if they did that, I'd be like, done. Like, can't do it anymore. I don't think he has. I don't think he's that silly, but he does actively watch our stuff to then be like, can't believe you guys posted this.
What's on your Twitter that's different than Instagram?
Like,
That's where we really put
Ben's
my
dick.
OnlyFans. Jasmine sucking my dick.
yeah. But like, there's like emojis over it, so it's fine. Like, you can't really see.
But it's very
yeah,
clear.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's all...
It's all censored, but like, if you were my dad, you would be able to know.
Surely you have people also finding your Instagram organically.
Yeah. A lot of family friends or like people that we're friends with will bring over their friends and their friends will be like, wait, the fuck? We follow you on social media, and we're like, oh, okay. Or like friends that we have that we don't really talk to about it will find it and be like, wait, what the fuck? And we're like, oh yeah, by the way, like, this is what we do. We don't really talk about it with our friends. Like, unless they bring it up, we don't really talk about it.
Because like we have multiple businesses, so like this is the biggest source of our income, and it's the thing that we're most passionate about. But we don't make it our identity either. If you know, you know. If I have questions, we're very happy to talk about it. But we're not like, this is who we are. If people ask us, like, we run marketing agencies. We have a genuine marketing agency. Then we have a OF management agency as well, where we help other creators do what we've done, but create longevity in what they do. Because like a lot of OnlyFans creators just do it for the act of making money, but like we will help you build a brand. So this is like really long term. So if people ask us, like, oh yeah, we're just self-employed, we run marketing agencies.
And like sometimes I'm like, oh, we do social media, and they're like, okay, interesting. People find it though, like if you're on Facebook or something, they'll find it through Reels and then they'll tag you. But most of our friends are really supportive. Like anybody that's found it, I mean, again, if a friend wasn't supportive, I'd be like, all right then, like you're just kind of out of that circle. But every friend that we have that one knows about it is super, super supportive. My best friend of like 15 years does our Fansly, like posts on Fansly for us.
That's awesome. Well, having open-minded friends is really important. I always feel like I can't get along with people anymore who are closed off to this. What advice could you give to couples who want to start this or who are early on in their journey of OnlyFans together, or even just content creation in general, like sharing their relationship on social media?
And this is like what I say to anybody, like any creator that we manage or talk to. I'm like, first off, always make sure that this is something you 1000% want to do, because it is not just a,
in your career. Or
yeah, it's not like you jump in and do it and then you can jump out. It can follow you. Like, people absolutely can take screenshots of it and then take it to business or do whatever they want to do with it. You have to be so sure in yourself that you are comfortable if this ever gets leaked, because it could. I'm always like, okay, if you're comfortable with the fact that it could get leaked, you're comfortable with your family finding out, and you're comfortable in what you're doing, then the rest doesn't really matter. Like, if you're comfortable with what you're doing, then the noise and the hate and all that kind of stuff won't even bother you. Like, it'll be completely fine. So definitely make sure that you're comfortable with that and be authentic. I think people are really sick of, like, and this goes for content creation and OnlyFans, like, people are so sick of overproduced content, fake content, that, like, it feeling real is going to be the best thing that you could ever do. And we don't have fancy, crazy equipment for OnlyFans. We just film on our phones. And it's just Ben holding it, or it could be in the corner. Like, we don't have anything crazy, and I think it's been the best thing that we've ever done, because I'm not like an Instagram model that has like a stick thin body or anything like that, and like, you're not an Instagram guy that has like an insane...
I got a dad bod.
I love you, buddy. Like, we're just not those people, and like, we're not going to try to be those people, because we're just not. And I think for majority of people that's going to work and really go in their favor. And some people, like, they have that body, like, they have that like real like Instagram body naturally, and it's like, cool, then like, that's your thing as well. Like, just go and do that. But again,
be authentic with who you are and what you want to create. Don't try and do something you don't want to do, because it will come through. I think content creation as well, like, our thing that we've always said is like, our relationship will come first, and if you're a couple content creator, be prepared for people to pick every part of your relationship apart, and like, be okay with that, because as much as we made jokes about the whole Reddit thing and like whatever, like, it can affect you. Like, it absolutely can affect your relationship if people are crapping on it. Or I don't care.
No,
it doesn't affect me in the slightest.
I have more anxiety, so I probably get more affected by it. But like, even to the sense, if you guys are having a bad day or having a fight and you're a content creator, you're getting messages. Like, I'll be in the corner because we've had a fight, or like, something's happened, we've had a disagreement, I'm like pissed off at Ben, and then comments are just coming through being like, I love Ben, Ben's so sweet, Ben's the sweetest, Ben's so great. And I'm like, right now Ben's an asshole. Or people like, picking on you, or they're picking on your partner, and then you kind of really get emotionally charged with it. But at the same time, whatever people think, as long as it's not true, doesn't matter. And just kind of keep doing your own thing, as long as you're not hurting or harming anybody, it really is fine. And I think probably go for the long haul. Like, it took us 2 years. Yeah, like, it's not, you're not going to become wealthy overnight. You may not even become wealthy at all, because you just got to get really lucky with a piece of content that just like absolutely launches your platforms. But yeah, if you do it to get quick rich, I think it's a wrong reason to do it. I also agree. I think it's the wrong reason to do it. I mean, doing it for money is not a bad thing at all. I know a lot of people that are in the industry for money, and that's so fine. But doing it to get rich really quickly, I think you're going to, one, your mental health is really going to suffer, because you're going to tie the way you look with the money you make. And if you don't make money quickly and you think you're going to, then your mind's going to be like, well, maybe I'm not attractive enough. When in reality, it takes months and months and months to make money on OnlyFans. These agencies that go out there and they're like, you can make $20,000 in your first month. It's like so fake. It's just not how it happens. And what you look like isn't going to determine how much you make. You could be the most beautiful girl in the world and you still may only make $100, but that doesn't mean that you're the most beautiful, like that you're not the most beautiful girl in the world. If that makes sense. Doesn't diminish what you bring to the world or your own value. Exactly, which I think is really hard to like separate. Some are based on what you look like in OnlyFans. I think for us, we're in a very unique position where it's based on what we do online, so that's what really drives the traffic. But when it used to be me and like just me and me being an attractive girl, my self-worth was like, only if I made money on OnlyFans, or only if a video did really well, then I thought I was really attractive, and then I felt good about myself. And it was this spiraling cycle that's really, really hard to get out of. Yeah, that sounds really hard to get out of when it's so personal and vulnerable. Sharing a lot of yourself. Yeah, but I think it's a really fun industry to get into, but just make sure that you're in it for the long haul. And like, you're going to go through those dips of, people not caring about what you do, and the algorithm changing, and then you having not many views, or not making money for a few months. It's all going to come and go.
You got to do it for the right reasons, and if you can get past that whole get money, get rich quick thing and just do it because you love doing what you do, I think success will innately follow. Those who do it for the get rich quick aspects, and they hit those slumps, it's very hard to kind of push through, and then that really determines whether you are going to be successful in that space or not. So you really got to have that grit and grind to want to keep doing what you do. So if you've got a purpose behind it outside of just money, it's going to be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good advice. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So
Yeah.
don't treat it like a sprint.
100%. It's going to take a long time. Like, people see those girls that like pop up overnight, and it's like they probably didn't pop up overnight. They probably have been working on this for years.
And you play into the illusion of like, yes, I'm an overnight success.
Not only that, like something that we found out now that we've stepped into the management side of stuff with OnlyFans is agencies have accounts with heaps and heaps and heaps of followers, and they recycle them for the girls. So like the creators don't actually own their accounts. So when they leave, they just replace that account with somebody else's face, and they start with like 10, 20, 30,000 followers to start with. So
yeah, that industry is bad. I could go on for so long about how bad that industry is, but I can't.
That's a whole lot of
Yeah,
podcasts.
So these are some of the tricks of the trade to create buzz. Oh, this is helpful for me to, even just knowing that is helpful for me to not, for me it's Instagram and TikTok, and that's how I get clients as a coach, like for a sex and relationship coach. But even I have that, like there's a lot of competition in this space, and you feel like, oh, that was such a good idea, why didn't I think of it, or why am I not getting ahead like that? All right.
It's a hard one, because it's like, also there's people probably but like took inspiration from somebody else and then used
so much.
Yeah. Like,
no one, people are not reinventing the wheel. They're often just sort of borrowing, tweaking a little and releasing, and you gotta take everything with a grain of salt. So what's next for you guys? You've sort of conquered OnlyFans, you've conquered Instagram. Where's the next frontier?
There's a few, to be completely honest. Like, YouTube definitely one, so that we can start making more long form content and have deeper conversations around this stuff, because the videos we make normally are like 10 minutes long, but then we have to edit them to like a minute 40. It would be really nice to be able to have these conversations as a long form topic. We have something coming out soonish, probably within like the next 7 months.
Oh yeah, I'm like, what are we doing?
I love Ben's face, like, really? Tell me more.
What have we done?
We can't put it online yet because we're still like in the production point.
That makes total sense. I love your videos, but even I'm smart enough to know that wasn't the beginning and end of the conversation, that 90 seconds of Instagram clip. So I'm excited to see more. I also just think it's really helpful and healthy for people to see what real relationships look like and what real conflict and conflict resolution looks like. Because it's almost like sex. It looks different for everyone, and what works for one couple might not work for the other, but seeing it and normalizing it is good for everyone.
I think so, like, and that's kind of what we're really excited to do. Like, we've been on the cusp of wanting to do like a podcast for a really long time between the two of us, and we get asked a lot about it, and we're always like, that's right, we need to do that.
Yeah, just gotta pull the trigger on
but we also just moved into the house that we like, okay, we could actually do it in this house. Like, it's quite easy to film content here, so that's definitely the next big project that we want to work on, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. I'm so excited about it. I would love if you had a podcast. I would add it to my list immediately. I can't get enough of you both. So if anyone else is new to or wants to follow, check out Instagram, Ben and Jazz, that's Jas. And from there, you can follow many other links to all of their other platforms.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
So
This has been awesome.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with anyone who might find it interesting. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover in future episodes, feel free to reach out. Email info@thekingconsultant.com. Until next time, keep on kinking on.